In the many days that I've lived seeing scams and holidays, I think the biggest scam I have seen is Girlfriend's Day, which happened this past weekend. Because that shit was meant for women to enjoy, their friends and appreciate each other as friends and shit. But all of a sudden, it turns into this whole relationship and couple thing. Like, I just don't get it.
Get ready for the battle of the sexes.
I honestly still can't get how it is that people took Girlfriend's Day and then turned that whole situation into a way to validate their relationships and claim couple goals and shit. Like, I honestly do not understand how it is people manage to do that. You decide to post up that, you love your babe and the fact that, you have an amazing girlfriend, blah, 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 I love you, blah, blah, blah. And for the women who aren't getting it, it was like this whole thing of you have to do it for your bae. I just didn't get how it is that people wanted that. But anyways, the plus side of it is for a lot of guys who are smart enough, they just decided to do that on like their WhatsApp statuses and on IG stories. And they only put that to close friends. And best part of that is you can just have your girlfriend as the only close friend. So she'll just see that herself. Anyways, it's about time we start this. Welcome to Break Time on Westside, your number one break time podcast, coming to you from Nairobi, Kenya. The man on the mic is a man that does not believe in Girlfriend Day. He's a man that is about to start celebrating August, even though Alcina just happened and entanglement went through. It is none other than I, Sir Denver B. The show is Battle of the Sexes, where we take a deep dive into the many relationship, love and sex issues that a lot of y'all might be having that y'all don't want to talk about. And we bring them to the light so that we can talk about them. Now, before I get to the main topic of today, I have a bit of an issue. So, there's usually this thing where whenever someone wants to tell you a story, it's usually advisable that you kind of counter check all the facts that you're about to give, just so that you can make sure that you're giving people the real thing. Now, a lot of people do like to lie and throw a shit ton of salt onto their stories, and sometimes it's for malicious reasons. Other times you just want to sound like you're a bit more interesting, but I much rather prefer using better storytelling methods. Now, I was listening to a story not too long ago, actually towards the end of last week, that was given by a certain media personality while she was on air, apparently. And she was talking about how if you're dishonest to your woman, it can actually end up blowing up in your face. And the story that she gave seemed pretty interesting. It was definitely something that a lot of people spoke about, maybe because of the amount of money that was thrown into the mix. But I found it a little bit odd, and I will tell you guys the story in a little bit, just to clarify for most of y'all that didn't hear about it, because I'm sure there's a lot of y'all that don't exactly follow Kenyan media. The thing is, she went and she put in quite a bit of detail there, and she tried to make it look like this big thing, but I took a whiff of bullshit. I smelled a whiff of bullshit in that story, and because I thought that it was just me, I let it die. But since I wasn't the only person that also smelled the whiff of bullshit in that story, someone by the name of Keith went on Twitter and was like, yo, are we really not going to call out this babe on the story that she's just given? Anyways, so quick rundown of the story, just so that I can summarize it real quick and we get into the main topic of today. So this babe was dating some guy and, they're in a pretty good relationship. And normally after work, they'd even meet up, go and work out together, then afterwards go back home and shit. So this one time, the guy hits her up and he's like, yo, I have back-to-back conference calls. I'm going to be really busy in the office. I won't be able to make it. And Shorty was like, aight. So she did her thing. She goes back home. She chills. It gets to nighttime. She tries calling this guy. And the guy's like, nope, still stuck in like conference calls and shit. So she's like, you know what? This guy is probably super busy and he's probably gonna be hungry. So I might as well go and take him something. So she goes, she makes dinner, packs it, and then takes it to the office and gives it to the security guard and asks for it to be delivered to the boyfriend's office because probably he is not to be interrupted. The security guard is like, man's already left. Like, he bounced, he's gone. So Shorty was like, yo, like, for real? Like, yeah, he's bounced. So Shorty's like, easy. She goes back home, and at like 3 a.m, this guy is checking back into the house, and he's like, yo, like, things were heavy. So Shorty's like, yo, like, were things really that heavy? Like, yeah. Did you, like, stay in the office this whole time? Like, yeah. And then she adds on this whole thing of, and I'm hoping that, you know, you at least tip the watchman on your way out, blah blah blah. And the guy was like, yeah, I did all of that. So Shorty is like, aside. So following day, she gets up, doesn't say shit. They go to the office with a man's, and while she's leaving, she's given the card, and it's actually a black card, wouldn't you guess? And she's told, you know, you go buy something nice for yourself. So Shorty is like, it's alright, it's cool, it's all G. So she walks out, goes, hits up a bunch of her homies, and she's like, yo, we are going to have a field day today. These guys go to an expensive restaurant, they order a bunch of shit, and they pretty much ordered some of the most expensive drinks and all. So the first time the bill was being brought, it was like at like 300 G's. She swipes the card. So once that bill has already been paid for, nigga calls immediately. He's like, yo, I've just seen you swipe like 300 G's on the card. Why'd you do that? So Shorty's like, nah, sorry, I'm in the middle of a conference call. I'll have to get back to you. Shorty cuts the call. She continues having fun with her crew. They continue drinking, they continue having fun, and they do it all through the night. Shorty does not pick calls from this guy. Shorty does not respond to this guy. And even at some point, people were like probably dead drunk and they wanted a place to sleep. And Shorty was like, you know what? It's okay. I got you. Goes, swipes through and like gets some proper luxurious places to sleep and shit. And apparently the total of it came to almost like a mil. Then she ends up going back home at like 4:30 a.m. Mans was super pissed off. He wants to lose his shit. And then she decides to call him out on the bullshit that he did the previous day. And then nigga decides to keep quiet and she goes to bed. Now, this is the part where I say that there's bullshit. There's a nice element of bullshit around all of this. In as much as the underlying concept of, you know, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, there is an element of bullshit in that story. Because I think for just about anyone who's used a card or used banking services or even credit card services, the minute you see something like that happen and you allowed it, yo, I don't care who you are, even though you are my brother, you're going to start spending $3,000 plus just trying to have fun. The minute that shit happens, the minute you disrespect me by cutting the call and like just continuing to do shit and not picking my calls, I am calling the fucking customer care center and having them deactivate the card. I don't care who you are. I will call customer care. I will call the bank's customer care and be like, yo, my card has an issue. Or I'll even make up some shit and say that, yo, I think my card was stolen and someone just swiped it. I need you to cancel that card immediately. Shorty would have only passed through that 300 G's if she even got to that 300 G's. So the next bit of that story doesn't make sense because you sit and you listen and you're like, you know what, that's the first bit that doesn't make sense. Second bit is, I don't see why it is that a guy would randomly just give you his black card. Because, well, in as much as we can be nice and we can choose to be generous with our babes, if we decide to give you guys a black card, you guys can accidentally buy everything just because you feel like buying shit. Like, we understand that women like to buy shit, which is why we'd rather go shopping with you and use the black card, but we wouldn't give you the black card. It sounds very nonsensical even to think about it. But anyways, the next time you decide to give a story, at least focus on better storytelling techniques. Don't give us bullshit. Don't throw too much aromat and don't throw too much seasoning into the mix because you'll end up spoiling everything. Even though that story is half true, I can't believe a single word of it because of all the bullshit that I'm hearing in between. But anyways, that being said, we should probably move on to our topic of today. Now, our topic of today is somehow almost similar to this. It is something that, yes, women are very well known for, but it's something that guys do as well. It is something that involves infidelity that probably goes beyond just the simple bit of infidelity, and it's mostly done out of spite. I'm talking about revenge cheating for those of y'all that are still waiting for a proper answer. Now, revenge cheating is pretty much you cheating on your partner out of spite, you cheating on your partner not necessarily because the spirit was willing or unwilling and the flesh was weak. It's simply just cheating because you chose to cheat. Now, the reason for my choosing to do this story was something that I saw about a month and a half ago on Instagram. And it was just one of these stories that people were busy doing. And it was about confessing one thing that you've done during the quarantine period. And Shorty was like, I've been smashing my longtime crush and 2 other men, yet I'm married. Now I have 3 full-time bang mates. And nigga was like, wait, you're married and you have 2 other guys that you've been banging during quarantine? Shorty was like, yeah, I have 3 bang buddies and I also have my husband. He goes to work still and I'm home, so whenever he leaves, I call whoever's available. I use protection with all of them apart from my hubby. And the nigga is like, why? Why do that? I thought women are the loyal ones in marriages. And the woman was like, I'm loyal. I ensure he doesn't know because I clean up good. Yo, like, who the fuck said that being loyal meant that you can cover shit up? Covering shit up means that you're good at covering shit up. It doesn't say anything about you being loyal. Anyways, back to it. So she's like, I also do all the other wifely duties. And why do I do it? He cheated on me and I will never forgive him. I know how to play his game better than he does. I used to be loyal and faithful and I settled after meeting him. Now he's taken me back to the game. He's just a player and I'm the coach. I don't know, like I read this whole thing and I was like, why do that? Why do you have to do that? And it is something that a lot of people do. It's something that has probably led to a lot more rampant cheating and has ruined a lot of marriages. I don't want to make it sound like I'm super sensible and like speaking about marriage, but there's this thing about cheating and revenge cheating. Because if you said that, you cheated on your partner because the flesh was weak, or like a nigga just couldn't keep it in his pants, or a shorty just couldn't keep it in her pants, or couldn't keep her pants on her in that case, then it kind of makes sense. Like, there was the lust, there was the last minute thought where you thought about it and you're like, you know what, I probably wanted to do this. But like the people who cheat because the other person cheated are, just a little bit worse. The worst ones are the ones who will cheat with a ton of other people because their partner cheated on them once. Not necessarily even with 1 or 2 women, but it's like their partner cheated on them. And it is something that has become quite a bit of an issue, because you think about it like this. I am probably married to a babe and I want to be this super faithful guy. I prioritize my family, but at some point in time, I found out that my babe cheated on me. Or maybe she admitted. Women have a tendency to admit some of this shit for almost no reason whatsoever. I'm not telling y'all to conceal it, but cover your shit up. And because I was hurt, even though I chose to continue staying with my partner, with my wife even, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna show that I'm way better in this than anyone else. And then I decide to step out and not only cheat on my wife with like 1 babe or 2 babes, but I bang as many people as possible. Not necessarily because I like them, not necessarily because I actually want to do it. I'm just doing it because my wife did some bad shit and I'm trying to show that I'm better. And I still have the question. I still want to ask the question that some of y'all might probably forget to ask. How does that make you feel better? How does that make you a better person? Please tell me, how does that make you a better person? Because frankly, it doesn't even make you close to the same. It actually makes you a slightly worse person. Actually, it makes you a worse person because At least when your partner was cheating on you, it wasn't because they were doing it out of spite. They were doing it because they were trying to aim for some level of pleasure. If you're aiming for cheating because you have some level of spite, I think that's just the worst part of sleeping with another person. Because when you sleep with someone to get back at someone else, I'd like to think that the sex isn't as good. The smash doesn't feel as fulfilling because it's literally a means to an end for something that's completely negative. It's not even as good as breakup or makeup sex. I know they're unrelated, but I just figured I'd throw that in there. Because the way I think about it is, it's like force feeding. You have already eaten, you don't need to eat anymore, you're pretty satisfied, but because you saw someone next to you having the extra bits of dessert, you're like, you know what, no, they can't be the only person that's having dessert, I also need to have dessert. And then you go and you scoop the entire bit of the dessert buffet. It doesn't work that way. I don't think that it's something that you would probably say will really help you, because yes, you can get that temporary fulfillment whereby, you know what, I'm better than this person at it, but look at what happens long term, because the other person finds out and the marriage is ruined at this point. Because I don't think any one of y'all will want to remain. I don't think any one of y'all might even consider what it might do to the kids. And most people, they just revenge cheat because of spite. It's nothing else. It's just out of spite. It's almost like buying McDonald's just because a McDonald's employee refused to give you food. It just doesn't make sense. When you actually look at it, the biggest culprits of revenge cheating are women. I will admit, this is not statistically proven, this is not scientifically proven or anything, but I have seen more reports of women revenge cheating than I have of men. With most guys, if they realize that the wife has cheated on them, they just up and leave. Or if they're staying, they stay, but stuff won't be as good, but you know, they can always try to work some shit out. Women, on the other hand, women, ladies, shorties, babes, like bunnies, I don't even know what to add there. Bitches maybe, if you're into that kind of word. Y'all have a thing with pretty much trying to show that you're the coach. Like, I don't get why it is that people get satisfaction from ruining the entire family simply because your partner did. I find it a very, very foreign concept whereby you decide, you know what, fuck it. If it's ruining the family, my partner started it first, they caused the first crack, I'll break everything else simply because I'm in pain. Like, there's better ways to handle that pain. You can go for therapy. You can probably contact a nigga after you've dumped your man and go and smash them too. Probably go for your crush at that point, which is actually something that most guys do. But the idea of revenge cheating, like, yo, it doesn't make you a better person in any way whatsoever. Like, I am saying this to appeal to the women that do this, to the guys that do this, because I know there's guys that do it as well. Please, there is no need to revenge cheat. It is part of the reason why a lot of us are pretty much just in orgies that we don't know exist, simply because one partner is banging 2-3 different people, the other partner's banging 2-3 different people, each of those people are also banging other people, and it's like no one knows each other but everyone's connected in a certain way. Like, it's part of the shit that's ruining our society right now. And this is like a Gen Y, Gen Z, Gen X problem. We really need to step it up and find better ways to handle our issues rather than trying to show that we're a lot better at committing the crime. But anyways, that's just what I think. I want to know your thoughts on this. The DMs on Instagram are open 24/7. You can hit us up there. On Facebook, you can also hit us up there. Both of those, you just need to go and search for Break Time on West Side. It's gonna be there. You can come and holler at us real quick. You can also drop some of your topic ideas there as well. And also, if you want to hit us up on Twitter, you can slide into my personal DMs at Bagak the D. The B and the D are capital. I will catch you guys on the next break. Take care. he gave me the black card. Nah, nigga, that's bullshit. Like, it's not like the nigga knew that you knew that he fucked up. Like, what kind of lie is that? Like, he gave me the black card out of nowhere. Like, what nigga does that though?